Okay, so this one obviously is going to be blocked right away. So just don't even open it or give it to anybody because it's going to be blocked right away. Okay, you ready? Okay, so basically what happened is that a group of people came together and they thought that they could create this principle of thought. And then they could change the idea of the government by infiltrating the colleges and giving them an educational system. The school of thought was known as Bennett's School of Thought. And Bennett created this idea of a new world order, a backdrop for people who were going to change the world in the name of whatever. Okay? And they were all working together for this new world order. And some of our leaders, when they left power, and some of the leaders that were in power, took power with them and special abilities from our government to monitor and surveil other countries. And they did that with the intent to overthrow leaders in other countries. And so they were basically doing stuff in countries that they weren't doing stuff in, just to listen to the countries about what was going on to make sure that they weren't being paid attention to. You get it? So the monitoring agencies didn't listen to you just to monitor you or make sure that you were being monitored. They were just listening to make sure you didn't know what they were doing. Because while everything was going on, they were out there selling their idea of democracy to a bunch of people. And these people that were doing this were very, very bad actors. And they had set up some crime families and had gotten a lot of money. And some of them were feeding big money into them. And they had the ability to do some terrible, terrible, terrible things. And they could have taken over the world, but they broke ways. And the one party had presidency just recently, and he knows everyone, but the person that knows everything, her husband lives apart from her, and he's been to Jeffrey's house, and she knows everything, and she's afraid, and she has been a witness for a very long time. See, the reason why they took out the DNC server is because the same thing that they were using to rig the election, she was going to use to rig the election. So while she didn't decide to campaign because she thought that she could just smear it and then sneak up all these voters, they didn't exist. They didn't show up. They didn't have votes. You know how long you have to sit together in a room to make voter things that nobody's ever turned in? A long time. But if you have the NRA's list of everybody that's a Republican that carries a gun, because people that are Republicans say that they are, and there's a lot of Republicans that can't vote, and they live in different areas, and you can move their votes around if you wanted to, because no one's checking on it, you could totally overthrow an election. Yeah, I was watching it. I reported it on my one site, and I was watching them, and they made a move at the world. The problem is that the way the prophecy works is, and this is all part of prophecy, okay? So it was a good thing that they wrote the book of Revelations, because in the book of Revelations they spoke of this, and they said that they would come back. And they were writing the book to help us know that when they are here, again, how to protect ourselves from them. And so the book of Revelations, which revelates what is happening, is an occurrence that occurs. And I know you don't want to get biblical with it and everything, but there's a group of people that employ the best spies in the world, and the best governments of the world, and have been overthrowing you behind the scenes, and they've been monitoring you to make sure that you didn't know it. See the bright light? Isn't that beautiful? They've been there watching you the whole time, and you thought that you had no problems, but they were thinking that you were the problem. And so he made a run for it. And now they're willing to go anywhere with it. They don't care who they'll kill, what they have to do, what they have to overthrow, the lies they have to tell. They need this idea because they have an old map. It's a Persian map. It's really old. And in that map, it says that there's a time that our people will come back and bless them with a heaven on earth. Yeah, and that's what they believe. And so they're waiting for Nibiru to come, which is not a planet, and it's invisible. And they're going by something they stole that they don't understand because they don't believe in astrology. So they're doomed. And I just made a couple extra stars, and I threw them off course, and then I've dissolved them. And I'm hoping you guys can come together behind the scenes so that way they don't think that you know. That way they don't know that you know. That way you know that you know, because the worst parts of you are within you.